Good morning, everyone. Got Mary Lou joining us today. Mary, I just invited you to be a panelist.
Yes, I am here.
Good morning.
Hi. Well, it's afternoon where I am, but
good afternoon, Mary Lou.
yes, coast to coast today.
That's right. Well, very excited to have you on. People will be jumping in for the next minute or so, and then we have all the different watch parties, as I explained. So very excited to have you on. Mary Lou, you're a coach with the Locker Room, correct?
I am. I have been a full-time coach since before coaching was cool. So I started coaching in 2017. That's how I met Jake Dixon. So he and I have been running arm in arm for like 6 years now.
Awesome. Well, we love the Locker Room. We love Jake. I'm sure we're going to love you as well. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Also excited to be speaking at your event that you guys are putting on.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that some more at the end as well. But while the room is filling up, that's in August, correct?
Yes. And usually it falls on my birthday. I'm a little bummed because then the whole room sings happy birthday to me, but it's a week later than my birthday this year. So
Well, I'll sing you happy birthday.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you.
Cool. So we'll have Mary Lou get started here in a moment. We're going to be talking about open houses and the 10 most common mistakes agents make. And obviously the inverse of the mistakes is avoiding them. And if you avoid them, then you can make open houses, generate you more clients and be more effective and all of that jazz. So really excited. Anything you want to tell the group before I turn off my screen and let you take over?
Well, I tell you, open houses, I'm extremely passionate about them, and it is a mindset shift. They are all about mindset. If you think you're going to do open houses and they're going to suck, I hope I'm allowed to use the word suck on here.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the West Coast. I can get away with anything out there.
That's right.
But the truth is, if that's what you tell yourself, that's exactly what you'll get. But if you believe that there are people that you're meant to help, and one of the ways you can find them is through open houses, it can become your best business building activity.
Love it. Well, I'm excited to hear it and experience presentation you have. I know that in for instance, San Diego, the market we're in, open houses are just stacked right now because there's such a big shortage of inventory, which naturally creates big opportunity. So Mary Lou, really appreciate you being on. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my screen, but I will be in the background managing the Q&A, and I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome. And yeah, just let me know once I get on a roll. Just unmute yourself and tell me what you need. I will be glad to answer any questions.
Awesome.
All right, so I'm going ahead now. And by the way, everybody, these top 10 agent open house mistakes, I will share a summary sheet with you at the end. All right, sound cool?
Appreciate that.
Yep. All right, it's loading up. Give me 2 seconds. Here it goes. Okay. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You got it. All right. Top 10 agent open house mistakes. This is me. I have been licensed since 2001. I was actually in new home sales. So that's where I learned a lot of the techniques that I teach in open house classes, because I got really good at having people walk in the door and building rapport with them. I was a buyer specialist on a very high producing team until 2016. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I've been a full-time coach since 2017. So here we go. Mistake number 1 is not actively lead generating for open houses. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is taking a passive approach and just waiting until, if you don't have the listings, that somebody in your firm says, hey, I've got a listing, who wants to do an open house? And then everybody, it's like a feeding frenzy with sharks, right? And everybody wants to grab that open house. So I want you to think about taking a more proactive approach to that, right? I got to the point in my brokerage when I was a buyer specialist. I wasn't listing any properties, but I got so good at open houses and developing a reputation in my office that I would have listing agents come to me and say, hey, I got a great listing coming up and it's going to hit the market next weekend. Do you want to do an open house? And I would put my name on that schedule and snatch that right up. So just think about looking through your MLS. And I know I'm in North Carolina, so things may be a little different than they are in California, you know, but check for your coming soons, check for your new listings. Look on social media. Yes, use it as a tool, but just don't wait for the open house opportunities to come your way. Be proactive and you actively lead generate for those opportunities and develop that partnership and those partnerships with agents who do have the listings, right? Because we know right now we have more buyers than we have listings. So it's going to be even more important for you if you want to do open houses to take that proactive step and lead generate for those open house opportunities. All right. All right. Number 2 is not incorporating virtual open houses. Here's the great thing about open houses and social media and how things have grown and changed in real estate. You can do a standalone virtual open house, or you can team that up with an in-person open house. Hey, if you have an open house scheduled on a home and it goes under contract, well, you still have an opportunity to maybe just do a virtual walkthrough of that neighborhood, right? Even if you can't do it on that house, use the opportunities that you have and that are given to you. We know that right now people, their minds are tuned to video, and whatever we can do to maximize that is going to help. So once again, you're going to use the same approach with virtual open houses and in-person open houses. You can run the same play for both. And guess what? I'm going to show you a calendar of my open house playbook that you can have. You know what? If there are any vacant listings, I know that's rare too. It might be more common in California. And by the way, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is one of the fastest growing areas in the country. Apple's building a campus here. So, you know, we're a very hot area too. So I get what it's like when there is an inventory shortage. So you kind of have to think outside of the box to maximize all those opportunities. If there are vacant houses though, you know what? Consider making that your office for a few days. Or if there's any new construction that you could do an open house in. I did that all day long when I was a buyer specialist on the team that I talked about. The builders had a few scattered lots in established neighborhoods. I got more business from those opportunities than ever. I made that my office Wednesday through Friday, 12 to 5, I was there. I got a hot spot. I worked, I had my computer and my phone with me, and just use those opportunities to do whatever I needed to do and also be there when people pulled up. All right, so not stepping up your game, right? And so you want to make sure that you are attracting attention to. I'm also a firm believer in having the times of your open house on your open house signs, okay? And I can show you what one of those looks like, but I'll wait till I'm done with this. I love using those little pinwheels, you know, those garden pinwheels. They're cheap. You don't have to go run and get balloons blown up all the time. Make sure that you are posting. Look, I've done it. I've gotten an open house at the last minute And I've come in on 2 wheels, coming in hot 5 minutes before the open house starts. I think we all can admit that we've done it, but the more purposeful and intentional you are with open houses, the more increase in your business you're going to see. And if you invite 25 neighbors to an open house, guess what? You're starting to farm that neighborhood and you are lead generating for listings. So I'm going to pull out my phone now, and it's not because I'm bored with our conversation, because I'm not, but I'm going to pull out my calculator. So let's say you do 3 open houses a month, okay? And you invite 25 neighbors. So, and you do 3 open houses a month, and let's say you do it for 10 months out of the year. So that's 30 open houses, right? That you're doing in a year, and you're inviting 25 neighbors to every open house, y'all. And yes, I say y'all because I'm in the South. That's 750 people who did not know who you were until you invited them and let them know who you are, because you either door knocked or you just even simply dropped a flyer off.
I love that.
That's powerful. 750 people, y'all. This is how you build your real estate business. It's the consistency, it's the repetition, it's those boring, unsexy, mundane, repetitive things that you do over and over and over again. You know, that's why we're the locker room. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What I love about that, Mary Lou, is, you know, assuming you're doing it in the same market or same community, like those potential sellers, when they think I'm going to hire someone, they're like, man, that Mary Lou lady, she's on it. Like, she's always got inventory. They don't know that you may or may not have the listing, right? It's a great way to really start to penetrate a market. I love that.
Yeah, I do too. And once again, I am all about opportunity. If you have an opportunity, make the most of it. If you go to an open house last minute, you know what? I would be handing out flyers an hour before the open house. Worst case scenario, they have a takeaway right there, even if they don't make it over to your open house. So just use all those opportunities when you have them. All right, so that's mistake number 3, not stepping up your game. All right, here, I'm going to show y'all now. You get to see my open house playbook, okay? So I want to take you and direct you over to the weekend. So I've got it set from Monday to Sunday, right? So let's say it's Sunday, all right? And the open house here, I always did 3-hour open houses because I'm like, if I'm going to work this hard, I'm not going to just do 2. I'm going to do 3 hours. And you would be surprised at the number of pieces of business I picked up in that last hour. But let's say it's Sunday. I've done my open house. It's 2 to 5, right? Pack up everything, take my signs down, go home, catching up on my shows on Netflix or whatever. I'm writing out my thank you notes for everybody that came into the open house, right? And I'm putting them in my database, right? Because we had enough rapport and enough conversation that they were signing in, and I was able to engage in some conversation with them, right? Okay, so I do this, and then it's Monday morning, right? I'm already starting to think about what open house I'm going to do the following weekend. Right? So up here in yellow, I've got Monday and Tuesday. Have your open house picked by Tuesday. I've also got my calendar blocked for 15 to 30 minutes of open house practice. You're going to get objections, which honestly are not hard to overcome, but we make them more complicated because we're not prepared for them. You will get objections like, well, yeah, we're not ready right now. Can you just send us some listings? Or, yeah, we've already got an agent we're working with, or, you know, yeah, well, now's not the right time. We're just trying to get an idea of what's out there, right? You will get those objections. And all you have to do is learn how to become a more active listener and just isolate. And it's normally not what they tell you initially. Scripts are a huge part of this, and you have to be prepared because you will get those. Y'all, I know for a fact that I've had people come to my open houses. I have set appointments with them. That's one of my mistakes, or one of the things I'll tell you to do. I always ask for an appointment at the open house, and normally I'm walking out with at least one appointment.
Love that.
But
Quick question for you.
yeah.
Someone's asking Allie with open escrow. I missed the first 5 minutes on the first slide. It said, do select your open houses on Mondays. Are you saying hold the open houses on
No.
Mondays, or?
Pick what you're going to do, have it selected. So that's a good question. So have it picked, but if you can, by Monday or Tuesday, because there's a whole bunch of other work that you're going to have to do for that open house. So you want to try to have it picked by Monday or Tuesday if you can. Okay. Look, agents who put homes on the market, there's listing agreements signed. They know when they're going on the market. That's what I'm saying. You want to be the agent of choice so that they're letting you know that, instead of them just posting, hey, who wants to do this open house? Does that,
love it. Another
does that help
question
answer
is,
it?
yes. So Rachel's asking, what type of appointment are you asking for from the buyers?
I'll get that. I'll get there in a minute. Okay. So let's get through this calendar. All right. So, all right. So we're at Monday morning. Remember, we wrote our thank you notes. We put everybody in our database, put them on their campaigns or whatever. And then here, what you're doing is you're calling everybody that came to the open house that you did not get an appointment with. If you get their voicemail, that's fine. Hey, it's Mary Lou Dingman with MLD Real Estate. We met at the open house yesterday. I know you weren't ready to set an appointment, but I'm going to check back with you and see when you're ready for that. And by the way, I'm going to let you know about my upcoming open houses. Have a great day. Talk soon. Okay. Then you go put the thank you notes in the mail, right? So they go in the mail. These slots, these dark green slots are what you've put on your calendar for consultations. These are buyer consultations or listing presentations. Go ahead and block your calendar so that when you're asking them for the appointment at the open house, you're not looking at your calendar going, oh, let's see, oh, when can I do this? Have them blocked on your calendar. Your mind is going to subconsciously go to fill those slots, right? So when you're asking, when it's busy and you've got people, you're like, hey, I've got Monday at 2 or Wednesday at 5. Which one works better? Boom. They take a slot. So go ahead and have these blocked, right? Okay. So now you're doing your, you're getting ready. You know what your open house is going to be. Now, what I have here on Thursday, you could easily move to Wednesday if you needed to. So I have 2 things on here. So I have previewing the open house, and if you can, 3 to 5 other ones that are similar. Now, I know the inventory is really tight. I know that. Even if you can tour something, maybe that's vacant, that's under contract, or new construction, call the listing agent and say, hey, I'm doing an open house this weekend at 123 Main Street. I know your home is under contract. It might not be cool in California, but we're in the South. So, it's fine. We do all these friendly things. But anyway, so, just say, hey, can I set up a preview only appointment so that I know what this listing looked like compared to the one I'm doing the open house for, right? You just want to get as much market knowledge as you can, because one of the least favorite feelings is when people that come into your open houses know more about the inventory than you do.
Yep.
Right. And they're like, oh yeah, that house, yeah, went under contract fast. And you're like, I have no idea what house they're talking about. Whereas if you're a little more proactive on this end, you are actually, what you're like, oh yeah, that house, yes, That was a great house. I'll be curious to see what your thoughts are about this one once you tour it, right? So you want to preview, you also want to make sure the landscaping looks good. Everything looks good. That's why I encourage you to do it by Wednesday or Thursday, because the last thing you want is to go pulling up to your open house on a Saturday or a Sunday and the grass hasn't been cut,
I
right?
just got a question for you, Mary Lou.
Yes.
Will you do like a video of the houses you're touring to post before as well, or are you not creating content around those?
I would probably, now this is just me, I probably would not create content around them because, and you know, videoing and all that stuff has gotten really wonky. And I don't know what what your MLSs say out there or what any privacy laws are or anything. But, you know, if you're just previewing and you don't have the consent, I mean, I think if you ask, but I don't know, I feel like that might be a little bit of a gray area. Does anybody, do you agree with me on that?
Well, I think obviously, you know, you have to have the consent. I could see it going both ways. If you have consent, then, you know, putting it on social just shows that you're a little more active. But, you know, the question got texted to me, so I figured I would ask.
No, well, you know, something that you might do, you know, take some still photos of the monument. If there's a neighborhood and there's a monument in the front, or amenities or whatever, and then just slap some music behind it and throw it up as a reel. Hey, previewing these neighborhoods before my open house this weekend. That's what I'm saying. Just use any opportunity you can to get more visibility.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes. And then I have here Khorr Realty or Circle Prospecting. So Khorr Realty is a paid source. I'm not endorsing, I'm not telling you. But when I ran my huge coaching program with agents, I bought Khorr Realty, and it gives you phone numbers and contact info for the homeowners. You know, if you don't have that, you might want to, you know what I would do? I'd go through the tax records. I'd find all the owners in the neighborhood, and I would send them all a connection request on social media. I mean, what's the worst they can say? No? Well, what if there's a neighborhood of 50 homes and 10 people accept your request? Well, you know what? Then you could maybe create a little small group. You could throw market stats in there every month or something. I mean, why the heck not? So I would say either, you know, circle prospect if you're calling, inviting the neighbors to the open house, or you're finding them through the tax records, you're sending them a connection request through social media, and then you're, you know, send them a DM and say, hey, you know, I'm going to be doing a sneak peek just for the neighbors. I'll get there in a minute. You know, hope I can see you at the open house. Okay. So then Friday morning, guess what you're doing? You're either calling, texting, blasting, whatever you want to do. Anybody who has come to your open house and registered, or, you know, if you have hundreds of people come through, but maybe you pick your most likely to, however that looks for you, and you are saying, hey, we met at the open house 2 weeks ago. Guess what? I'm going to be doing an open house at 456 Park Avenue tomorrow. I'd love to have you stop by. Remember what I said when you made the call to them on Monday? And you said to them, I'll be letting you know about future open houses. So that's exactly what you're doing. You have a reason to call them. Even if you get their voicemail, just leave them a message.
Continue the loop.
Yeah, this is a wheel that continues to turn, right? This is a system, this is a play that an open house superstar would run over and over and over again. Make sense?
It does.
This is lather, rinse, repeat. This is a system. Then either Friday or Saturday morning, I would go ahead and put out the signs, and different areas have different sign ordinances. Like in North Carolina and where I live, you know, you can't put out signs. If you put out open house signs on a Friday before 5, they're going to be taken down. They're going to be thrown in the back of some cranky town commissioner's pickup truck. And then you won't get them back, right? So, you know, but you could do that. You could do that Friday night or Saturday morning, and then use that opportunity to take and deliver your flyers, right? Remember, I told you to invite at least 25 neighbors. And you know what? Friday nights or Saturday mornings are both good because people are unwinding, they're done with work. They might be standing at the edge of their driveway, talking to their neighbors, drinking a glass of wine, watching the kids ride their big wheels or play soccer or whatever. They might be mowing their grass. So you do have some opportunity to engage in some conversations if that's comfortable for you prior to the open house. And what you're going to do is you're just telling people, you're like, hey, I'm Mary Lou Dingman, MLD Real Estate. I'm doing an open house 3 doors down at 123 Main Street. It starts at 12 noon today, but I'm going to do it, or 2 o'clock. I'm going to do a neighborhood sneak peek just for the neighbors between 1:30 and 2. Would love to have you stop by then.
Love
right?
it.
They see how proactive you're being. And once again, you're now starting to lead generate for listings. They're going to be like, wow, this agent's on the ball. They probably haven't even put 2 and 2 together that you're not the listing agent. And it doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. I know one of the most successful agents here where I am in the Triangle, that's Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. I mean, she's a beast. She has an amazing business. She will still, when things get slow for her, and she is a listing machine, she'll do open houses at other people's listings. She doesn't care because she's like, you know what? And she'll get listings out of it because she does them. Well, agents always complain that they don't have time to eat. It's like, oh, I don't have time to eat. Real estate is so hard. I even put time on here for you to eat. Bring your lunch in your cooler, or, you know, y'all, I left my house this morning when you guys were still in bed, because I'm 3 hours ahead of you. I left my house at 7:30 this morning. You know what I did? I packed my lunch because I looked at my calendar and I knew what my day was going to look like, right? So then you do the neighborhood sneak peek if you happen to be doing open houses on Saturdays and Sundays. So this whole cycle starts over again. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. All right. And here is mistake number 4. This is not asking for the appointment at the open house. Y'all, this is the crux of everything. If you can take one thing away from today, this is what I want you to take away. They are standing right in front of you. You have the best opportunity to get an appointment from them at that moment. Okay? Why wait to just collect names for a database and then just chase them down later?
So smart.
All it takes is one appointment per open house. One appointment. If you did 3 open houses a month, like we talked about, you know, and you would have 30 appointments just from open houses. And then when you get really good at it, you do several, you get several appointments. Then you make sure that your consultations and your presentations are spot on and you have a super high conversion ratio. You might not even have to do any other form of lead generation than open houses. So I start with I try to build rapport. So I start on the front porch. Now, I know the architecture is totally different in California. Or are you guys in Cali, or are you just somewhere on the West Coast, or all over?
I mean, there's California, Georgia, Vegas. We got people all over the country.
Oh, we have some Georgia in here.
Yep.
Georgia knows all about front porches, because that's what we like to do in the South. Is we like to sit on our front porch and drink our sweet tea or our cocktail and wave at the neighbors, right?
Love it.
So what you want to do, though, is you want to position yourself, however that looks, with the architecture in your area. You know, I know what Vegas is like. I've been to the desert. One of my best friends lives in Phoenix. So you want to position yourself, if at all possible, so that when people are coming to the open house, you are having a conversation with them, if you can, outside, and you are just building rapport. You picked a great day to come to an open house. How did you find out about this one? Oh, we saw the signs driving by. Oh, okay, great. How close do you live to the area now? Oh, we live in the apartment complex right next door. So what did I get from that? They're renters, right? So I already know they're renting. Or if they say, well, I live in, you know, or if they say they saw it online. Well, we saw the open house online. Great. Do you remember what site you were on? It was Zillow. How many open houses are you going to today? Well, this one and another one. Okay, great. I'm really curious to hear your feedback after you tour this house as it compares to the other one. So we'll make sure that we connect in the kitchen, right? So you're setting that expectation that you're going to continue a conversation with them, right?
Very good.
Now, in the South, because I know it can be 100 degrees or higher in Vegas. When it's really super cold, or if it's like blazing hot, it gets really blazing hot in North Carolina. I will typically put myself in the front room of the house, which might be like an office or a living room or something like that. And then as people pull up, then I'll walk outside. Okay.
So a question just came through. This is great, by the way, Mary Lou.
Yes.
Gilbert's asking, how do you get around, essentially the objection when they say they're already working with someone when you're trying to set the appointment?
That is perfect. Well, here's the thing. I am a highly ethical agent. We all know that according to, you know, our code of ethics, that we can't cross lines. We can't and shouldn't cross relationships that are already made, right? When you go into a store and somebody comes up to you and says, hi, can I help you? What's our default? What do we say?
I'm just looking.
I will tell you honestly, that is 90% of what happens when somebody says they have an agent.
Yep.
The first thing I ask is, great, what's your agent's name? Right? Because I want to know. And you know, you will typically, oh, that's another thing. When they're walking up and you ask them how they found out about the open house, and if they say, well, our agent sent it to us, then you pretty much know that that probably is their agent, right? You are not there to do anything unethical and take any business away from any other agent. But I will tell you, I had people visiting me at open houses who told me they were working with an agent, and as our rapport grew, I realized that was not the case. This agent was only showing them houses. They were not a client, they were a customer. Once again, I'm very ethical. I'm not telling anybody else, but in North Carolina, if you don't have a written buyer broker agency agreement, you don't have a leg to stand on.
Right.
So, I don't want there to be any weirdness about that part. Are we
I think the
good?
moral of the story is, you give the right analogy, is I have an agent is just the natural way to stop the sales process. The same way you walk into the store, can I help you? No, I'm just looking. So what I took away from Mary Lou is just continue to ask questions. Great. Who are you working with? And, and what brought you to the house? And oftentimes you'll find that uh, sometimes they have an agent and other times they're just saying it because that's the easiest way to kind of skirt around the conversation.
Look, y'all, people do not, that they have raised their hands and they have said, we are looking for a house, whether it's 3 weeks from now, whether it's 3 months from now, or a year from now. They are in the market to buy a home and possibly sell a home. So that's why this is such a great source for business. Now, and this will piggyback on that question. All right, so I asked them, how did you find it? Signs or website? What site were you looking at? Then when they come in the door, this is my spiel. I'm just going to tell y'all this spiel. And it's recording, so you can go back. I say, everybody's coming in. And by the way, I make everybody take off their shoes. I'm not going to be responsible for dirt on the bottom of somebody's shoes that's tracking through the whole house, either booties or shoes off, right? So when everybody's coming in, I say, by the way, my name is Mary Lou Dingman, and this is not my listing. I am holding this open house on behalf of a colleague. The main reason I do open houses is because I find a lot of clients that I'm meant to help at open houses. Now, I'm not going to hover. I'm going to let you go ooh and ah, look through the house. I'll meet you back in the kitchen. I want to hear your feedback about the home. And then we're going to talk about setting up an appointment to see if I'm a good fit to help you. A lot of times, if they have an agent, that's when you'll hear it. And they'll say, oh, I have an agent. And I'm still going to say, great, what's your agent's name? And they're going to tell me, and then I'm going to say, okay, great, we'll go tour the home, but come back and meet me in the kitchen, right? Now, what did I do when I said to them, okay, I meet a lot of clients that I'm meant to help at open houses. I've planted a seed, and it's the truth. You know what? I didn't just say that because I was, trying to strong arm anybody. I found people that I was meant to help at open houses. That's why I said at the beginning, this is a mindset. And if you want to build your open house business and you believe that, it will happen. And I tell them I'm planting the seed. I'm saying, you know what? We were possibly meant to meet today. And I'm going to be asking you for an appointment when you come back to the kitchen and give me feedback about this house.
Love it.
I'm planting that seed. It makes it so easy to ask when you do that. And I am telling you, the majority of the population leads with their S personality type, which I'm also DISC certified too. But they like to be told what happens next and what the steps are. So you tell them, you say, all right, you go look around the house, then come see me in the kitchen. You're going to give me your feedback, and then I'm going to ask you for an appointment, right? And I mean, what's the worst they can say? No, not right now. But you would be surprised how many people say yes. And I'm telling you, I have seen so many agents that have a strong SI personality. Those are the two people types. And S's are typically more on the introverted side, a little softer than the energetic, outgoing I's. And I have S real estate agents come up to me and say, Mary Lou, it worked. I asked for an appointment and they said yes. And I'm like, It's amazing. When you ask, what happens?
Asking you
So,
shall receive.
yes, all you're doing is you are offering your help. They don't know what they need because they don't know. And they need you more badly than they realize, because they can go tour around. Who's going to hear first about the homes that are ready to hit the market? You are, not them. You are. Who has the best negotiating skill? Who knows the market? Who knows what needs to happen for them to win that offer? You do. You're the real estate agent, right? Ask those powerful questions to dig deeper, right? What, oh, we're not going to be looking. What's going to be different in a year? We're in a lease. I mean, has anybody had somebody buy a house that was in a lease and then sat down and had a buyer consultation and pushed their timeline forward like 9 months? I have. It happens. Just get in front of them sooner rather than later. Even if they tell you they're a years off, you know what? I respect that, and I respect your timeline, but I'm telling you, when you go on vacation, you're probably researching hotels, cruises, flights, rental cars, where to go. This is the biggest purchase you're going to make in your life, and it demands just as much planning. Why don't we sit down now? Let's put the pieces together so that when you are ready, we've got that map and we're ready to go. Let's get our strategy now.
I like that.
I made that script up.
Very nice.
And it works. I'm telling y'all, it does. If you convince yourself, and if you believe that you are powerful in person, because we all are, then you will be amazed at the connections that you can build and the ways that you can help people. This is not just about us fanning our ego and saying, we got another one. We have the opportunity to help people with their biggest decisions of their lives, and it's an honor. It really is. So go find the people you're meant to help. That's what all of this is about. It's just going to find your people. And if they're mean to you, they're not your people. If they don't want to talk to you, if they don't want to engage with you, then that's fine. More power to them. You just have to be polite and let them do their thing. All right. Remember what I said about not practicing scripts? You're going to get these objections. Well, we're not ready. We just started looking. We're not moving into next year. Right? I mean, y'all, I just shared 3 of my scripts with you. I mean, it probably sounded like I know them really well, but I practice them. But you know what? It doesn't take a lifetime. It just takes consistent practice. 15 minutes, 5 days a week, or 30 minutes, 3 days a week, boom, you're there. Play back and listen. Decide on your affirmations. You know what? If you believe that you're powerful in person, then make that an affirmation. I do. I feel like once I get in front of people, I'm good. Right? I just want an opportunity to get in front of people. That's why when this opportunity came up for me today, I was like, I just want this opportunity and I'm going to take it. Right? Because I don't believe that encounters are by chance. I think everything happens for a reason. So mistake number 6, I talked about this. I've shown up at an open house coming in hot on 2 wheels 5 minutes before the open house starts. Just don't do it. I'm embarrassed to say I've done it, but that's why it's a mistake, especially if you have people lined up at the door. But if you have your neighborhood sneak peek, so if you're doing an open house from 2 to 5, neighborhood sneak peek is from 1:30 to 2, be there at 1. Get everything turned on, get your sign-in sheets or your app. I have nothing laying on the counter except an open house notebook with all the pertinent information about the listing. I don't leave flyers, and it's in like a notebook with the sheet protectors in it. I don't leave pages laying around, because what happens when people come in? They grab that paper, their nose is in it, and they don't need to engage with you at all. I will give them a flyer, but it's typically not until they come back downstairs and they've engaged with me and they've signed in and registered.
Is there a place that people can get the scripts? I'm getting asked.
Well, I do a.
Does it come with the coaching program? Is that it's okay?
Well,
if that's the
no,
deal.
I actually do an open house, a full 3-hour open house class. And that's where I share the scripts.
Okay, well, you can just later on share that with me and we'll send it off in the replay.
Perfect. Okay, great, great. All right. Sign in sheet. I go in depth into everything. So, all right. Mistake number 7, not previewing similar homes. We went over that on the calendar. By the way, this was me at an open house that I did. See, that's my little green chair. And by the way, I didn't bring anything except a cooler full of bottled water. I don't do snacks. I didn't do any of that stuff.
Why not snacks or anything? Someone's asking.
I wanted to build rapport with people, and I didn't want the liability of, chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chips getting stuck on the bottom of somebody's shoes and going through the carpet. I mean, I just only brought water and I would bring water for the guests. That's just
plain
me.
And simple, like it.
Yeah. And I mean, and y'all, I'm a very warm people person. But I just wanted to keep the environment very clean at the open house with minimal distractions. I wanted to be able to talk, but people believe in food and people like doing food snacks. I would say go for it if that works for you. Do make sure that you're previewing listings in the neighborhood. And remember that market knowledge is power. The more you know about the market, the more business will come your way. So if you're in a time when business is slow, I would just get out and start previewing neighborhoods. Go to restaurants, go to new places that open up, then go door knock a neighborhood, within a mile radius to that restaurant and be like, hey, work out something with the owner of the restaurant where they'll give somebody a coupon, get some coupons, come from value and contribution. Just learn your market. All right, not following up with open house visitors. We talked about that on that calendar that rotated around. Yeah, make sure you set them up on drip campaigns. Call open house visitors weekly until you get an appointment. I will tell y'all, I do not set up people on a search unless I have a written agreement with them. And if they have come in and met me for a consultation and I have an agreement, but because really, are we really doing a service if somebody at an open house says, "I will set me up on a search for homes just like this"? I mean, what does that really mean? You don't know their motivations. You don't know what's important to them about buying. You want to make sure that all the decision makers are a part of it. You want to know what's super important, what their expectations are of you, what you should be able to expect from them. You want to make sure their financing is together with a reputable lender, not somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. So all these things are very important for a consultation to sit down with you. All right, here's the calendar again. Remember, that's how it rotates around. If they don't get the appointment, if you don't get the appointment, then they're getting a call from you on that first Monday. They're getting a card in the mail from you like on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then on Fridays, they're going to be hearing from you as well about your upcoming open house for the weekend, and make sure that you are adding everybody as a connection on social media. Why the heck not? I would, and I do. So, makes sense?
Love it.
Okay. Mistake number 9 is not inviting the neighbors to the open house. We've kind of incorporated that with the calendar. This is a way to lead generate. What in the world just happened there? I don't know, but let me go back. There we go. Yeah, so make sure that you are inviting the neighbors, you're doing a neighborhood sneak peek, you are door knocking either virtually, or you're becoming friends with them on social media. You can create a group, you can do all kind of things. This is such a fantastic way to build your database, not just to be from an open house buyers, but also sellers, right? And the last one, well, once again, it ties in with sellers, not looking at them as an opportunity to attract sellers. So listen to what they say. Ask for the listing appointment at the open house. If they say, well, yeah, we need to move. Yeah, we want to move, but where in the world are we going to go? Just say, well, you know what? Let's set up an appointment. Let me come over. First, we'll talk about the purchase. I want to hear more about what you're looking for and what the options might be. And then we'll talk about timeline with selling to see how we can make those two work together as painlessly as possible. We can do that tomorrow at 2 or Wednesday at 5. Which one works better? Right? And then show your value that you are proactively prospecting for buyers. So, all right, this is it. That's it. Yeah. Oh, and just so you know, and Sam, I'll send you the bit.ly link, but the class is called Less Cookies, More Closings.
Awesome.
How to rock your own.
That was phenomenal. Thank you so much. Let me make sure we don't have any questions. Someone's asking, do you create a flyer to hand out to the neighbors during the invite?
You know what? All I use is I get caught up in trying to be too creative. So I would just share the buyer version of the listing from MLS. That's what I give to the buyers as well, because it has my name and phone number on it.
Awesome.
So whatever gets you in the activity of doing more and not taking 3 hours to create a flyer. That's the way I am. And that's why I have to keep things simple.
So the event in August, is there a place that people can learn more about that? I'll be speaking. Corey will be there with me as well. How could they learn more about that event?
Yes, and let me tell y'all, I have been to many real estate conferences with many different companies, and I'm telling you, man, our locker room event, this is all we do is coaching. This is it. And it's good. And this is the first time we're doing some for agents. I think it's, I can't put it in the chat. I think it's TLRU/breakthrough event.
I'll get it and put it in the replay as well.
Yeah, I'll look it up as soon as we finish. I'll send you my bit.ly link for my, and by the way, my open house class, it's in 2 days. I only do it once a month. So it's in 2 days.
Awesome.
And I did it with Pacific Coast people in mind. It's from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. So
perfect.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll send that out to everyone. Mary Lou, this was it was great. Thank you so much for the energy and all the insights. Hopefully everyone that listened will go and implement some of this stuff. You know, it's very easy to do a boring open house training, but you brought the heat and really gave us some good ideas. Excited to have you back and other people involved with the locker room as well. And see you in August in Florida. Anything before we break?
No, but if anybody wants to connect with me on social media, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm MLD Success Coach. And my name is capital M, capital L, put them together. And Dingman, and there's trees by a lake. That's where I live. So,
Cool.
yeah, but I'd love to connect with anybody and everybody. You know, look, we're all here to build our businesses and to help the people we're meant to help. So thank you for having me, Sam.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next Tuesday at the same time. Make it a great week. Go schedule some open houses and we'll see you all later. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you.
Bye-bye, Mary Lou.
Bye.